Happy Easter! Hi, I'm Luna.
And I'm Nick.
And we are the Nomad Citello. And on our channel, we are here to help you plan your visit to Venice, Italy. Today, we're going to talk about what to expect in May if you're visiting next month. So let's start by looking at some of the topics we will have today. And if you have any questions, any doubts about traveling to Venice in general, leave them in the chat or also in the comments, and we will be more than happy to help you plan your trip to our beautiful city. Let's start with the topics. So we will talk once again about the Venice City Tax, which is in full swing starting this weekend. We will talk about the Biennale, the other events happening next month, and then we will answer some of your questions from the comments to our videos. So let's talk about the Venice City Tax once again. This is a tourist tax that is being implemented starting, as I said, this weekend and all the days you see on the calendar. Venerdì with the V is Friday, and then you have Saturday and Sunday. And as you can see, it's mainly implemented over the weekends, but also during other busy times in this season. It's implemented from 8:30 in the morning to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And all the information can be found at this link that you have here, and you have also in the description of the video. Now, do you have to pay this city tax? You have to pay only if you're visiting for the day and not staying overnight in all the Venice metropolitan area. So that means Venice, Mestre, Marghera, Favaro, all the areas around Venice. If you're staying in a hotel, Airbnb, hostel, you don't have to pay the city tax. If you don't belong to these categories, if you're just coming for the day and then leaving, then yes, you have to pay, and you can pay €5 if you book the city tax up to 4 days before your visit, and €10 after that. So you can still pay the city tax at the moment when you arrive in Venice. Just know that it will be €10 per person.
Now, the fact that you don't have to pay under certain circumstances doesn't mean you don't have to do anything. There is still something you have to do during those time periods.
Exactly, because what to do if you're exempt, you still need to register and get a QR code. So there will be checks around Venice, there will be some checkpoints at the station, at the various points of entrance to the city, and you need to show your exemption. So that means you have to go on the website, and we have a video that explains the procedure step by step. So check that out in the description as well. And request your exemption based on the fact that you are staying overnight in Venice.
So if you're in Venice on those days, you either have a receipt, a QR code that says you paid, or a receipt QR code says that you registered for an exemption. You need one of those two.
Exactly.
You can't just get by with doing nothing.
Exactly.
Or of course, you have your ID that says you're a permanent resident.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And on the website, you can also check all the other exemptions, exactly if you're a permanent resident, if you were born in Venice, if you have a house in Venice, if you're visiting relatives. There are a lot of categories that are exempt, so check those out. And there has been quite some controversy these days because some tourists paid the city tax even though they were exempt because they were staying in a hotel, and then they refused to pay the tourist tax at the hotel. So let's make this clear. The tourist tax that you pay to hotels, Airbnbs, and any other kind of structure is the substitution to the Venice city tax. So either you pay the city tax or you pay the tourist tax. You don't have to pay both. The tourist tax to the hotels and other accommodations is paid in person when you arrive, most often by cash. So expect to be paying a tourist tax if you're staying in a structure in Venice, but you are exempt from the city tax. That's that needs to be very clear. Okay, so next we have the Biennale. Biennale is starting next month, May 10th for the architecture, May 31st for the theater. The Biennale is a foundation that organizes art and architecture and theater and cinema events. The famous film festival in Venice is organized by the Biennale. And architecture and art are alternating. So one year you will have the art biennale, the next year you will have the architecture biennale, like this year. So as you can see, Architecture Biennale will be held from May 10th to November 23rd, and the tickets are already available on their website. The theme of this year is intelligence. So that will be the theme that all the different countries will explore. And the location of the Biennale is Giardini and Arsenale, the locations that you see circled here on the map. The tickets most often are valid for both locations, even on non-consecutive days. So you can take your time to explore all the exhibitions and all the pavilions. And there are often other exhibitions around town or other architecture for the Biennale around town. So when you walk around, keep an eye out for any interesting new feature.
And let me underscore something you said about the different countries. This is not an event that happens in multiple countries. It's an event that happens in Venice, but there are representatives from multiple countries
Exactly.
participating in the event. So the larger countries have their own pavilion with the artists or the architects that they've elected this year, and they've got some sort of exposition exhibition. So you'll see different pavilions for different countries, and sometimes there's, smaller countries that have smaller venues. But it's generally an international event where people from different countries come and show their art.
And let me just say that the areas of Arsenale and Giardini are just beautiful to visit, and very often you can visit parts of the Arsenale that are not normally accessible to the public because of the Biennale. So that's a good chance to see parts of Venice that you wouldn't normally get to see.
Can we take a step back to your previous where we saw the
Mhm.
the map larger? Yeah. So the red circle on the left side is circling Arsenale. That's that body of water that's inside of the city limits. Historically, the area where they built ships in
Yeah.
Venice. And it's an incredible place to see, but you can't just go in there most of the time. They're only when there's special events like the Biennale.
Mhm.
So if you're interested in going into the grounds of the Arsenale to see the historic shipbuilding location, then the Biennale event is a great opportunity to do that.
And I will add that these are great opportunities for children as well. There are often guided visits, guided tours that you can take with children, and especially the architecture biennale. I myself took some summer camp kids to visit it because it's very spectacular in most cases and very fun also for children. And then we will have the Theater Biennale starting at the end of May, May 31st to June 15th, directed by none other than Willem Dafoe. So I'm very excited about that. There aren't many details yet, but keep an eye out on the website for this event because theaters around Venice will be playing a selection of plays. And the whole thing will be directed by Willem Dafoe, so it will be very exciting to check out. All right, then we have other events happening outside of Venice, actually. We have the Pavé, which is a series of bike events from May 9th to May 11th. You may not know this, but there are a lot of bike paths around Venice. So if you're interested in that, we can dedicate a video about how to get around by bike outside of Venice. And this particular series of events will have a gravel ride that is quite grueling if you see the distances, because we have 90, 150, or 330 kilometers, which is 55, 93, or 205 miles over a few days. And it's possible still to register for these rides. Just keep in mind that the website is all in Italian. So if you need some help with that, we can help out for sure. And then there will be a bike polo event in the San Giuliano Park. So it's literally polo, but on bikes on May 11th. And after the competition, you will be able to try bike polo at this event. So if you are around at the San Giuliano Park, definitely check this out. And then near the San Giuliano Park in Forte Marghera, the Venezia Comics will happen May 3rd and May 4th with stands, role-playing, cosplaying, food stands, all dedicated to comics and the world of comic books in general. So this is the area you see that is outside of Venice, where you have the San Giuliano Park and the Forte Marghera right opposite on the other side of the street.
If I'm remembering these locations, the tram stops right at these locations.
Exactly.
And is the
Both of
tram
them.
running?
Yes,
Okay.
it is running.
So when you're in Venice, you can go to
Piazzale Roma.
Piazzale Roma, and it's very easy to catch the tram, a light rail there that goes, you see the bridge right here. No reason to point, they can't see where I'm pointing. But it goes from this bridge from Venice into the mainland and there's stops for each of those locations that Luna just mentioned.
Exactly. So there is like the first stop after Venice is San Giuliano, and the stop after that is Forte Marghera. So you can't miss them. All right. So if you have any questions, again, leave them in the comments. We will be more than happy to answer. I have to give you bad news, I'm afraid. The Fondaco dei Tedeschi is closing. Fondaco dei Tedeschi is a luxury shopping center very close to the Rialto Bridge, which had a very beautiful terrace overlooking the city that you could book and go for free to have a beautiful view of the city. If you are in Venice, take advantage of that, because at the end of the month, the Fondaco will close.
End of May?
No, end of April.
Okay.
Yeah, it's closed. Next week will be the last one. And then we got a few questions in our comments to our videos about the Tronchetto Island and the cruise ships in general. So the Tronchetto Island is what you see circled there. It's separated from the usual arrival points in Venice, which are the train station and Piazzale Roma, the bus hub. But it's connected to the city, so you can definitely walk from there into the city. You can take the light rail people mover, which is just a 1-minute ride from Tronchetto to Piazzale Roma. And you would get to Tronchetto if you are on a cruise ship arriving in Venice. Now, many of the cruise ships are now being sent to other destinations, other locations, in particular Trieste and Ravenna, which are connected to Venice by train. Now, since the cruise companies had to reorganize this whole system and get ready for people to arrive in Ravenna or Trieste, they might have a dedicated transportation to take you to Venice. So definitely get in touch with the cruise company or the agency where you booked your cruise and ask them what's the logistics to get to Venice. If they don't have any ready-made custom solutions, you can still look at the train timetables or also at the Flixbus timetables, because Flixbus is a company that organizes buses, long-distance buses all over Europe, and they also have dedicated routes from Ravenna and Trieste into Venice.
FLIX bus.
Yes, and you will find the link in the description as well.
I've clarifying questions.
Yes.
I was under the belief that all cruise ships had been stopped to Venice. You're saying
Not
some do still arrive?
not all of them. Yeah,
Okay.
some do.
But I haven't looked into this at all, and I would guess you would have to take some caution because the cruise companies may sell you a
Right,
voyage to Venice,
right.
which would actually land in Trieste or Ravenna.
Hmm.
And people may expect, okay, the ship is going to dock, we can step off into Venice. You should probably check real close on the
Right.
details. They can still call it Venice,
Hmm.
even though it's not landing in Tronchetto in Venice,
Right.
because they may provide transportation or they may recommend routes on the train that takes you into Venice. It may
Exactly.
be an extra step.
And other cruise ships, I know that they stop in Chioggia, which is another
Mm.
island out of the lagoon, closer than Trieste and Ravenna, but still you need transportation from there as well. And I think most of the cruise ships that arrive there organize boats to Venice,
Mm.
boat transportation. Okay. Uh,
I see a comment from Ellen, but it's a hello sort of comment. So, hello, Ellen.
Hi, Ellen.
And
Thank
for
you
the
for your
moment,
comment.
I don't see any other questions.
All right. Well, if you do have any other questions, feel free, as usual, to leave us a comment on any of our videos. We have videos on how to travel to Venice, how to arrive, how to leave. So there's a whole range of videos on making your life traveling to Venice easier, at least. So once again, happy Easter, and we'll see you next month with a new installment of our Traveling to Venice videos. Buon viaggio!
Ciao, ciao.